is KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank.
Well, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the KCSN Defensive Breakdown, brought to you by Derrick Johnson's Defend the Dream Foundation. We are back after a week off covering the Chiefs against the Broncos. I didn't go the Chiefs' way this week, but the defense played pretty well. I am joined here, as always, by my two pals, Mike DeVito, Derrick Johnson. Fellas, the streak is over. Like, how does it feel? Like, been watching this for 8 years. Was it a little anticlimactic, or was it one of those? DJ, I'll start with you. Is it one of those that after it happened, did you just kind of go, "Oh, it was going to happen sometime"? So yeah.
Yeah, we hoped it never happened, because we love beating Broncos, but man, it's the NFL, and that's kind of a shame that it went on that long. But we didn't play like ourselves at all. So at the end of the day, we didn't deserve to win, and we know we can play better, and we'll play better. We're not in a panic mode or whatnot. But that little streak is over, and but we'll get it back. We'll get it back. I mean, it's the division. So I mean, at the end of the day, we own the AFC West, the Wild West, which is a pretty cool thing to say.
Yeah, no question. No, I tweeted something out. It was amazing. I was on the team the last time we lost. I mean, that's how long ago it was. I was 32. I'm almost 40 now. So that's how long ago it's been since we lost to them. And I don't know if you remember, DJ, but we probably would have won that game. Do you remember the fumble right at the end of the game? And
yes. Oh,
yeah.
That was the
It
last.
stands for that one. Yeah.
Yeah. That was wild. So, but yeah, no, you're going to have those games. And Derrick, you played in Denver a number of times, more than I ever did. But I always felt Denver had a feeling similar to like Oakland, where you go in there and I don't know, it was just something about it. It's hard to explain, but there are a lot of teams I've been on went into Denver and it just didn't have the energy that we normally have. The same thing when we would just play the Raiders in Oakland. Like, I don't know what it is about that area, but I just remember, number of times being dead. So
yeah, well, probably the altitude for sure.
The altitude. Yeah. But what you saw from KC, right? Just a little bit less of what they normally bring.
Yeah, and I know Pat was going through a little sickness or whatnot. I don't know if he spread it to the team or not, but it was we didn't quite wake up on the right side of the bed, but we'll be better.
Yeah. But the defense was good still. Allows just 3.7 yards per play. Defense was fine. Bad situations to be put in, but the defense was fine. Let's dive in here, start looking at some stuff. This first here on one of the early drives of the game, this is going to be a 2nd and 6 from the Chiefs' 35-yard line here. As you can see, the Broncos are in heavy personnel. They spent a lot of time in heavy personnel here. Chiefs in their 4-3 defense here. Even without Nick Bolton, we got Drew Tranquill in the middle of the field here. Let's just let this play a little bit. Let you guys see what you're doing here, because running a little gap scheme here, pulling the guard. Defense does a pretty good job plugging this up, specifically Chris Jones here.
Yeah. Chris Jones is just I've seen him do this plenty of times, and he's probably the only player that I wouldn't defensive lineman that I wouldn't even mess with. I'll just be like, hey, do your thing, and I'll play behind you, because he's just so disruptive. Talking about a big, fast defensive lineman that has the agility to swim linemen and just take on 2 blockers. I mean, you see Drew right there at 23. It's just waiting. I mean, nobody's coming up to him because he's taking 2 right there from Chris Jones. So, but again, being a just great disruptor and allowing everybody else to piggyback off there and benefit just from him being just a beast again.
Yeah, and I wonder, this looks like, if you look at the backside, like I'm looking at the nose, it looks like he steps. I'm wondering if are they bringing something? Looks like they're coming down. So this was a good defensive call, defensive play call. They brought, they were jamming right into the play. And I wonder if that gave 9-5 the freedom to do that, because you can see he's already wide, which I think is really smart because you got 82 off the ball backside and you have a tight end on the line, in line, front side. So if I'm, looking at this from a run standpoint, I'm thinking, we're probably going to this down tight end as opposed to the guy that's off the ball. So you can see he's wide. But then it looks like he has everybody coming to him, which gives him the freedom to do that anyway. But yeah, just well played up front, and a great call by Spags. I mean, he's bringing everybody right into where they're running the football from the back.
I got to tell you, just kind of knowing Chris Jones a little bit, I'm just sure he just did that by himself. I'm telling you, he's just a playmaker, and you're right. He is wide. He is wide already, so he does have the ability to do that. But knowing when to do it is one thing, and being able just to have that ability to just sling 300-pound guys around like that is unbelievable.
And it's killer. It throws them off now. You know what I mean? Because I'm sure 69 would love to fire off this football and come down and try to knock him out of there.
Yeah.
But all you got to do is something like this once, and now he's going to play softer throughout the whole game because he knows that's a live option for Chris. So it's like double-edged sword, and it's just terrible for that guy. But yeah, normally in this 3 technique, like I would have tried to hit right in through that guy's inside shoulder and then played real late into that running back coming through.
I want to shout out because we got to do this every week. Pay Mike Dana 51 on the other side here just takes away the cutback lane. Absolutely, just takes this left tackle for a ride back inside, shuts it down here, makes it a lot easier for it's essentially a single lane for this running back. He's got no place else to go here. Justin Reed does a great job coming backside here, but Mike Dana, Chris Jones, Drew Tranquil, like they had this swallowed up, man.
Yeah, when everybody does their job like this, I mean, it's just running back just really ducks his head and just says, "All right, let me just get in here and get the play over with."
Yeah, you're right. There's just nowhere to go. I mean, there's nowhere to run that. That was perfect across the board.
Yep. All right, let's move on to the next one then. This 1st and 10. This is from the Chiefs' 11-yard line. Again, this is after a turnover here. Chiefs backed up in their own end. What you're going to see here is, once again, you're going to see, this is actually technically 21 personnel, but it's aligned like 12-45 is a fullback here, and they kind of trotted out here. So the Chiefs are in the base defense again. What you're going to see is yet another play out in space by George Karlaftis and Drew Tranquil here. This is just sound football. DJ, you talk about eyes all the time here. This is a great job by the Chiefs defensive end and Tranquil.
Yeah, George did an excellent job right here. And this is just being able to play with great eyes, being able to play with a sense of just patience at the end of the day. And I mean, this is and he's wearing 5'6". So I mean, he's got the good luck charm on his back already. But just being able to know, hey, nobody blocked me. This is what I need to do, and knowing something is up. Because a lot of people, if you don't block them, they just run. They just run and go get the quarterback and run and get all out of control. But now this is antennas up. What's going on? They're trying to trick me. Come to balance and get ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'll tell you. So, obviously this play happens on the outside, but I like what 93 is doing here. This is a little subtle thing, but it shows an understanding of how to play the techniques in this defense. So if you watch him fire up a football, he's in an inside shade in a 2-eye. So it's already putting him at a disadvantage given his alignment.
Yeah.
What is easy right here is to take that soft shoulder and fight up the field. But if you watch 93, he works to fight back into the guy. As much as I'm sure he wanted to continue to go upfield, he doesn't take the cheese, right? He fights back into the arch shoulder and tries to widen that guy down the line. Now, this play is so wide that it doesn't matter anyway. But that's just a sign of good technique on his part to not run up the field, but to fight the arch shoulders, as awkward as it seems, and try to string that thing out down the line. And then you see Chris just knocking his guy back. I mean, this is outside play, but it was good. Again, good, solid technique up front. And we talked about losing Bolton and the way things change in the back end. One of the ways to mitigate that is all the other positions, picking up the slack. And especially up front, if you want to help the linebackers, play your techniques and play them well. And you can see that 93 is honed into that right now, just fighting that hard shoulder.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Next play here. Moving on. 3rd and 2 from the Chiefs' 40-yard line here. Once again, you're finally going to see, Broncos not in heavy personnel. They're going to be in 11 personnel here. And I kind of wanted to highlight the way that the Chiefs are lined up here pre-snap. This is something that they've been doing the past couple of weeks, very condensed down. They're walking Willie Gay Jr. up opposite the tight end here. You see Trent McDuffie off the edge here. Typically, we see Willie Gay Jr., kind of lined up opposite the tight end. You don't see it here. Spags, I don't know what he saw with the tendencies or what's going on here. It pays dividends here because Willie Gay Jr. comes in unblocked off the edge here, able to make a play. But guys, I just kind of wanted to highlight here, this is a little different look that they're throwing on tape. It's definitely a lot different than we can expect.
Yeah, and Mike knows this like the back of his hand. I don't know. I know he's played in a few defenses that I don't know. Mike, would this tackle over? Would we just close it left, or do we close it right and move left?
We would close it right and move
a little bit left. There you go. So that's why Willie Gay is, because he is away from the tight end on this play. But again, there's no pass responsibility on this, so that's a good thing for him. So he knows it's all around, and all the inside gaps are taken. So this is strict run. You don't pass the ball out of this set right here, and where they're going to run the ball is to the tackle over.
That's interesting. So 77 becomes the center. So I wonder if they're not lined up correctly on their left. I'm wondering if Chris should be out and 90 should be out. One gap. Because 91 and 95 are close. I'm wondering, so they're moving the center over. You have to recount up front. So you got tackle over. 77 becomes the center. So 91 is the nose on the center. Yeah, I'm wondering, what do you think, DJ? I'm wondering if 95 should have been outside of 69 and if 90 should have been outside of 72.
Yeah, you can play it different ways, Mike. It's not a wrong way to play it, just as long as we're all on the same page. But
right.
At the end of the day, if you can just, plug up the gaps like they're doing, because this is 3rd and 20, correct?
Yeah, no, yeah, that's true too. Right. That's true too. Because technically if this was normal, this was lined up normal, it'd be like you have two guys in the A gap, right?
Yeah.
I wonder if that's what he wants to do anyway. Maybe if you're right, maybe that was the call. To have two guys in the A gap. Yeah, I mean, there's nowhere to run in there.
Yeah.
Chris, and then
Chris Alminahue ends up in the same gap here. But yeah.
Again, I'm telling y'all, Chris does this on his own because he can do whatever. I played behind him, so you just never know. He's so good. You just say, "Hey, do your thing," and I'll. And he just DDT'd that guy at the end.
Yeah, he did.
I wonder what it feels like to just be that dominant at this level, where you just know like nobody stands a chance. 91 does a great job getting into. I mean, everybody plays it perfectly, but I just I couldn't imagine having that kind of confidence in a short yardage situation like that. Swimming the tackle. I mean, that's wild. But you're right. He's going to get it every time.
Yeah.
DJ, I missed that he DDT'd the guy. That's all. I'm glad that you called that. I mean, it hooks the arm and
Hey, that's in the trenches. Anything goes in the trenches now. You know that.
Absolutely. All right. Moving on to our next one here. This is going to be yet another play here on the interior. You're going to see, once again, short yardage play. These guys all lined up. Everything is condensed here. You're actually going to see, this is 11 personnel here, and the Broncos going to motion a wide receiver into the backfield. So the running back's 25. He's playing kind of as more of an H-back here. What you're going to see is they're going to try and catch him on the boot, get a guy free release here, and Drew Tranquil just showing his ability in space to make this play. It's a good play call by the Broncos. Like, that's a tough thing to defend there. But, I mean, they're able to sniff it out on 3rd and short and prevent him from scrambling and getting this first down.
You know, Craig, we were talking about this before, but I do like about the weird stuff they're wondering. Like, I'm wondering if this is just Denver being a little bit desperate, because this is just odd stuff right here, to go out into 11 and then have, your running back as a fullback and motion 19 in. That's wild. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, DJ, but
no, you're good. I mean, that is weird. So antennas up for the linebackers to say, hey, this is probably not a traditional run right here. So antennas up for any kind of play action or kind of trick play or whatnot, with the running back at fullback and the receiver at running back. But Drew just trusts his instincts, trust his preparation, knowing that all the gaps are covered in the inside. So don't worry about that, and just be ready for the quarterback when he does this little play action. And man, this is whatever you can stop an offense. It comes down to playing team defense. Defensive line do their job, linebackers do your job, and play tight coverage on the back end. This is what the result you have.
And so, not to be nitpicky up front, but I just remember this, especially in short yardage goal line situations where you're in these low stances and you're firing out. If you look at Chris, the one thing you have to be careful of is the offensive line is trying to wash the D line one way or the other. Yeah. And they know we're just sort of submarining off the football. What I would do is same sort of position. Obviously, he does it better than I would, but same idea. But my angle of attack was more into 77 and less into the gap, because every time I went to hit the gap, I would get washed down. Just like now, Chris, I mean, like I guess you'd probably still want that over anything. But like, if I'm in there, I'm not knocking him that far back. And so I'm probably getting washed down the line of scrimmage. And so what I did was just alter my attack so I'm more into 77 instead of into the gap. That way, if they do try to run it downhill, I'm not, there's not this huge run lane because I've gotten washed down, torpedoing off the football.
Yeah,
and both of them too.
Yeah, the technique that Mike is talking about, it actually helps me out. So if they do hand the ball off to the fullback, which is the running back at this time, it doesn't come off the shelf wide open, and I don't have to, it comes off the hip a little bit tighter, and you got more girth in there. But if you just get washed down the line, it's a bigger hole for me, and I got to plug that, make a big boy tackle in a bigger space. But yeah, that definitely helps if you go against the grain and joist back into the lineman. It definitely helps out that wash.
No question. Yeah, no, that's good. And you know who used to do? I think we talked about this before, but like Haloti Nana. So remember the swim moves that 95 was doing on the other plays? This is actually a good time to do something like that too. He's coming so hard, so flat.
Yeah,
I remember Haloti Nana with the Ravens used to swim in these situations, short yardage, because he knew they're trying to wash him down, and it was just so easy to swim them and then regain your balance and be right in that gap.
Yeah. Do want to give a quick hat tip here to Mike Edwards. He's the deep safety. Look at him trigger on 17. Russell Wilson wants to get this ball to 17 as he's coming open. And 21 and 35 here, Jalen Watson do a great job kind of collapsing on that, forcing him to take his eyes off of that. Russell Wilson realizes pretty early on this is not going to be open. And so he's shifting off, sees that, you got L'Jarius Sneed and Justin Reed on the secondary as well that are taking care of number 2 here. So like DJ and like Mike both said, coverage matters on this sort of play as well here. And so, yeah, shout out to those guys for really being heads up that coming out of the backfield there. That's a difficult thing to cover up.
Yeah, Russell didn't have a lot of yards either. I mean, don't get me wrong, he was pretty good in the red zone, I would say, but just for a overall game, he didn't have a stellar game. So
no, he didn't. As a matter of fact, back-to-back games against the Chiefs that he had under 100 net yards passing. Like, that's hard to do.
That's hard to do. Yeah. Not good.
Now, one of the things that got them some points, the Chiefs some points here, was this play right at the end of the half. This is going to be our last one here. I kept the wide view here just to kind of show the coverage, show how, blanketed everything was on the back end. But George Karlaftis had a day, and this was arguably the biggest play for the Chiefs defense, coming up with a big strip sack at the end of the half. Chiefs get a field goal out of this when they couldn't get much of anything going there in the first half. This is just hustle. This is what this man does now. He's just been so good lately, and it's really fun to watch him putting on impact plays like this.
Oh, I love it. And, he's so long, and so he works that long arm a lot. But right here, he goes like he's about to do it and then pulls it out at the last second.
Ghost.
And the second he does that, a tackle, he's bid on the long arm at that point, because he knows that long arm, it doesn't take much to drive a guy back and get things done when you long arm a guy. So he's playing hard on that. And 56 just takes it away from him, right? He falls right over. That's just a great, great pass rush move right there. Rips it. And then the wherewithal to attack the football too. He has been playing fantastic, and this is just another example of it.
This is a two-man rush, by the way. This is two down linemen. It's just Chris and George on the field for John.
You know how bad that offensive line coach is at the end? Two-man rush, you're getting home.
And that's why George Karlaftis went around like that, because he knew nobody else is rushing, man. I don't want to go inside. And this is, try to beat him with speed, using his speed against him. And then being able to say, hey, I'm about to give you power, but nope. And then that's when that lineman ducks his head, just what Mike was saying. And just being able to have that fight, to turn those hips and just be relentless and just be ball conscious. It's all about the ball. Get the ball out, and then we can have another chance to make some things happen. But, I've seen Justin Houston. I've seen Tom Ali a lot of my years, and I just tell you, George, one day we'll be mentioned with those guys. If he keeps doing what he's doing, it's early, but if he keeps doing what he's doing and stay healthy, George has a long future with the Chiefs, honestly.
Can you tell he's been working with Tamba? The Tamba there.
That's all Tamba.
From his stance on, just look at his stance. His stance looks like Tamba.
Yep. And it almost looks like he's almost cocked in a little bit, but he goes up the field. He's showing them power, but he's going speed.
Yeah.
Like I remember Tamba teaching. Tamba's a great teacher, by the way. He needs to do that for 11 and go around the NFL. Seriously, he's a technician. It's like ridiculous. But because I've learned so much from him, and I'm not even a pass rusher, but you can tell that George been working with somebody that knows what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right. We're going to talk about this a little bit on the lab this week, on the other KCSN podcasts. But the biggest question for this week, and I want to hear it from you guys, how do you stop Tyreek Hill? How do you get it? What's the game plan? If you're looking at this, you guys have played against great players in your career. How do you focus a game plan around a player that can break the game in the way that a guy like Tyreek Hill can? Either one of you, I just want to hear kind of what the general thoughts, what you would like to do in this
scenario. Man, I'm sure Spags has not got any rest this week, just trying to figure out a way to stop Tyreek. We know what Tyreek is. He's changed the game. When he was with us, we saw some defenses where you say, man, you're going to run cover two man the whole time and keep somebody over. And we're like, and people are like, yeah, we're not going to let him beat us deep. And then somehow he beats you deep. But his main route, the go route, obviously, if nobody's over top, he can run past anybody, or individual routes. If you give him too much room, he's gonna break it down and he get the ball in his hand, and now he can do whatever his backyard. Really, really good throughout his career. And then you talk about the deep over route, just being able to have deep safeties, just conscious of where he's at all times. And I'm sure Miami's going to paint a picture where they can hide him a little bit, and then you have to find him. They're gonna make it harder for us to really cover him. But I mean, you got to stick two guys on this guy, and if it's one guy on him, the other guy from the other side is waiting for Tyreek Hill. It's just he earned that attention, and we're gonna give it to him. You should give it to him every time. Now we might be light in the box when it comes to the run. You know, that's the only thing when things like that happen with Tyreek Hill on your team. You can't really just play super run. You can't have all these guys in the box. You got a burner that's the fastest guy in the NFL. So hopefully he has just a bad day, man. I just hope.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Hope he has a bad day. Yeah, no, but going off of what DJ said, I mean, there's two things up front. First off, like Derrick was saying, you got light boxes, and so technique's got to be sound across the board in the run game and in the pass rush. Everybody's focused on what's going on back there. So you don't want Spags to have to say, damn, we can't get home with 4. We got to figure something else out. You need to take all the pressure off that secondary by getting a pass rush up front. Yep. I mean, that's how you stop situations like that as a defensive line is, okay, don't worry about us. You go put everybody into coverage. We'll rush the passer up front with 4. So you have to get that done, because the last thing you want on Spags' plate is now saying, okay, we're having trouble covering them. The guys up front are getting home. So now we got to dial up some sort of exotic blitz. But, anytime you dial up a blitz, you're going to leave yourself open in the back end. So that's going to be key for the defensive line, technically sound in the run, and then getting after the quarterback in the pass game.
Yeah, and I'll add real quick to what Mike is saying. When you have a light box, and at times, I'm sure, Mike, you've done this before, but being able to cut up the line, like for the runs, when you got a light box, being able to run those T stunts and cut up the line, because if you have 5 and 6 in a box and they know exactly where you are, it's gonna be hard to stop the run like that. You gotta cut it up a little bit just to give the lineman some indecision.
Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, remember we used to run, like, one thing to do is get into those 46 fronts.
Yeah.
The subversion. So you got to tackle your 2 guys on the end are dropping.
Yeah.
Pop out, in after they drop.
Yep.
But in the run game, everybody's there in line.
Yep.
So maybe those, I forget what we called it, like sink or something like that.
Yeah. Sink. Yeah, there's some more. I know what you're saying. That's a whole little category we had.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
Nice. Yeah. And I mean, you got to be, to you guys' point, every time that teams have tried to just say, we'll let you have the run against the Dolphins, guess what? Pretty good against the run, too. Yeah, they had some really good rushing attack games. So, I mean, it's going to be a very, very big challenge for the Chiefs. We'll be here next week to break it down, hopefully, with a lot of positive plays for the Kansas City Chiefs defense. For Mike DeVito and Derrick Johnson, I'm Craig Stout. Be kind to each other, and we will catch you later.